5:30, so I will call this regular meeting of the Fargo Board of Education to order. To order, okay. And we will begin by saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I will look for approval of the agenda. Jim.
I move approval of the agenda with the addition of the HR addendum that was at our work location to be added to item 6B on the consent agenda.
I second it.
Seconded by name all. Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying yes.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. We will move on to recognition of the audience. At this time, the board will hear comments from the public. We ask that each speaker who has signed up to address the board state their name and home school district for the record. Speakers must refrain from using this forum to criticize or complain about a specific employee or student by name. Vulgar or profane language will not be tolerated. The board is interested in your comments and will listen carefully, but is not obligated to respond or debate issues in this forum. Should you desire a written response to a specific question, you may request it. This evening, each speaker, we have one speaker signed up, and each speaker will be allotted a maximum of 5 minutes. Upon conclusion of the allotted time, a chime will sound and the speaker is asked to conclude. If necessary, a final chime will sound 15 seconds later, signifying the end of the speaker's time at the podium. I will now call our first speaker, Devin Stachinsky. Thanks for being here.
Boy, you're late to listen to one governance meeting. Wow. I get it, Jim. Times are tough. Want to save that $25 on postage for the next 2 years. I get it. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about the man of the hour. The superintendent of the year, Dr. Gandhi. I didn't know that they gave out awards for mediocrity. Now, school board. When are we actually going to start talking about students during our meetings? Graduation is at its lowest point in a decade. Right here, your stats. District math, proficient, 31.8%. For grades 3 through 10. Your stats. Reading, grades 3 through 10, district, 50.4%. Against the NDSA, math and reading, both downward trending, 39.9% for math, 44.9% for reading. ACT scores per category trending downward since before Dr. Gandhi started, but continuing a downward trend. So, when are your board meetings going to actually be about righting that ship and not just, well, this policy looks good. Yeah, we'll rubber stamp this. You got to right the ship. There's way too much at stake for the future of this community if we're looking at 30 and 40% proficiency numbers for the kids. Totally unacceptable.
Thank you, Devin. We'll move on to staff reports. First this evening is FEA report. I see Kim Rieger is here.
Good evening. Thanks. Sorry, I was running a little late. I was out voting, so line was quite long at the Civic Center. Dr. Gandhi and I have been visiting our wonderful schools and having a nice time. We're really just focusing on our visits and listening to teachers and being seen. And I know that they've greatly appreciated that, seeing both of us there. Again, just to reiterate, our American Education Week will be next week. So if you are out visiting schools, you can be wearing a sweatshirt of your favorite teams and donate to our scholarship fund. And I was also going to let you know our Educator of the Months for September and October was Jenny Rudy, Carrie Eisendor, Jenny Kading, and Dinah Schultz. And then I'm happy to petition on behalf of the Fargo Education Association for negotiations. So I've got our 3 forms to hand in that I'll give to.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, thank you for being here, and thank you for that. I will look to Dr. Gandhi for superintendent report.
No new reports. I think there might be the hard copies of our annual report from last year that are at your desk. Those are also publicly posted on our website. But you do have a copy of our 21-22 annual report as well. Outside of that, no other new news as of today.
Thank you. I will look for approval of the consent agenda. Jim,
I'll move adoption of the consent agenda with the addition of that HR addendum.
Second.
seconded by Nikki. Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying yes.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. We will move on to the business section of our agenda. First up this evening comes to you in memo number 56. It is in regards to the superintendent evaluation. So North Dakota Century Code requires a school district to conduct an evaluation of the superintendent's performance on or before November 15th of each year. And our board policy, BSR 5, outlines the process for monitoring the superintendent's job performance. Our policy requires the evaluation documentation or document for the superintendent to be comprised of a summary and conclusions of the board as a whole. So all 9 board members submitted individual evaluations of Dr. Gandhi, and I created a summary with conclusions regarding the superintendent's job performance. That's what's here at your desk, using all of the individual assessments. I think that the summaries, conclusions, and satisfactory performance rating, are here for you to read through. This was gone through by governance as well. But unanimously, the board rated Dr. Gandhi as satisfactory. So I would offer that for, yes, Seth.
Hold on. I move that the board approve the formative assessment of the superintendent, including satisfactory performance, and place a copy of the report in the superintendent's personnel file.
Seconded by name all. Thank you both. Any discussion? Summary looks okay. Everybody's comments are represented. Okay. Anne Marie, I'll have you call the roll.
Johnson,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Berkland,
Yes.
Christensen,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Day,
Yes.
Gullickson,
Yes.
Holden,
Yes.
Newman.
Yes, motion passes. Okay, so next is possible executive session for the purpose of negotiation strategies. Is that needed this evening?
I mean, we've just been petitioned this evening. We had our first negotiations meeting. There were a couple of things that were discussed at that meeting, so if we wanted to bring those to the full board now, we most certainly can.
Okay, do Do I hear, yes, Jim?
I think you said yes.
Yeah,
I'm gonna move that we go
Well-
into executive session for the purpose of negotiation strategies for contract negotiations with the Fargo Education Association as permitted under North Dakota Century Code 44-04-19.19 and North Dakota Century Code 15.1-16-22.
second.
Seconded by Seth. Okay, any discussion? Can we do that's not a roll call. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. Any opposed? Great, thank you. Are we moving upstairs this evening? Okay. It is 6:55 and we are finished with executive session. We'll move on to the board reports section of our agenda. So first we have community liaison and correspondence reports. We will start with Robin this evening.
Thank you for letting me go first. I've got to catch a flight early in the morning. Just a couple governmental affairs, or one governmental affairs committee update. I was notified today by a legislator that we can expect one more bill that talks about school board financial donations reporting. Most other elections do that. For anything over $200, you need to report it. And that will be a bill that's forthcoming in this session. I can't imagine we'd oppose that. That seems pretty logical to me. There's talk about the size of the district and things like that, but we may need to start doing donations reporting if you run for the school board again. I serve on the Fargo Police Department's Badges of Unity Board. We have a meeting on Monday. Just want to highlight our SRO program, our Student Resource Officer program. It is nationally renowned. Our Fargo Police Department will be hosting the SRO Advanced Training here coming up next year, hosting the North Dakota Advanced School Resource Officer Conference, and working on hosting the National SRO Conference. Is that right, Christy? NASRO. Oh, I'm sorry, Adolescent Mental Health Training. So we do some great things. We have a great partnership with the Fargo Police Department and our student resource officers. I have been a longtime champion of that partnership, and we'll have more to share after our next official board meeting. Sorry to put you on the spot, Christy. Thank you for letting me go first. I'm gonna go home and pack more. Have a nice evening, everyone.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. I'll keep it going. Seth.
On the 27th and 28th, I attended the NDSBA Law Seminar and Annual Conference, respectively. 11/1 was that last Tuesday. We had planning, and then I also was invited by Dr. Uzelman to a forum that was hosted by Amy Lloyd and Holly Mackey from the Federal Department of Education, talking about STEM and CTE and Indian education issues. It was kind of just a feedback session. They wanted to know what we thought, what our challenges were, things like that. So it was really, really, really good to take part in that. And then the next day on the 2nd, we had a negotiations meeting for the first time in quite a while. So it was good. Thanks.
Thank you. Nemo?
Sure. On the 3rd, I was able to take the tour at Davies High School with Mr. Corey, the principal there. He showed me practically the whole schools. It was just so amazing. I get to see my daughter on the hallway carrying cookies, and then he's like, "Who's that?" I said, "Well, that's mine." So that was good. I get to meet with a lot of students that were really, really wonderful, bright, and the program that the Davy serve is really good. And the fact that I get to go see outside there's a house that the student builds. I thought that was so amazing, and it's just practically prepare them for for the workforce. That's how I look at it. And then they had the kitchens, which was really good, just to train the students, how to cook in general, just make sure I don't burn down the house. Uh, that was on the 3rd. And then we also talk about mental health and counselor, because those are just so intriguing to me, and just how are they dealing with that in their high school. So it was really a great conversation, and I get to take a lot from him, a lot of info that he showed me that I was really proud of. I get to on the on the 1st, I attended the planning committee and the government affair in the same day. Practically, they just go back and forth, which I hope we change that one. The other one that I did was I did the lead bank committee today, and which was really interesting because it's there's a lot that wasn't really clear what lead bank does and how many teachers should be on the leave at the same day or how many days they should be taking. That was an interesting piece. Um, and then also too, I get to meet with Jasmine Child Care, so just for community liaison things. They were contacted by Dr. Hogan from the city, and up to me, and then I was like, oh, okay. I guess I'll talk to them. So I had a Zoom with them. I was able to forward them to Anna Marie, and Missy took it over. So that was a good thing. I still do my volunteer work at the South High Schools, and we'll see what other program we can come up with. Thank you.
Thank you. Liaison visits are always very fun. Melissa.
Yeah, just briefly, I attended the North Dakota School Board Association conference on October 27th and 28th. I felt like the new member seminar was kind of a refresher. Thanks to Anne Marie and Tara, we had a really great training this summer. So a lot of it was just kind of going over some of the rules again. So that was good. And then last week, I had negotiations and legislative committee meetings, and yeah, I'm just gearing up for busy committee work, I guess, coming forward.
Thank you. Jim?
I too was at North Dakota School Board Association, and I want to thank Anne Marie for presenting again. And I understand it was actually requested for a permanent slot in all future state association meetings, so good luck. I sat in at the Government Affairs Committee meeting as a guest just because it's near and dear to my heart. And I think everybody's aware of the legislator breakfast coming up. Make sure you have that on your calendar. Hopefully we'll have a big board turnout and a big legislator turnout for that. Southeast Education Cooperative had a board meeting on November 3rd. We're knee-deep in redoing a strategic plan, and we focused this particular board meeting on our board governance, which it appears we're maybe going to move to some form of a board governance model as opposed to a fly by the seat of your pants model, which is I think what our board is currently, although it's functioning pretty well. So we'll see where that goes. And we had a planning committee meeting on November 1st. Looked at our budget situation, talked about some land opportunities, looked at the need for a joint powers agreement for the CP30 Center, no, the C3 Tech Center, which I believe will be coming forward for approval at the board at some point in time. That's it.
I will forever call it that now, but thank you. Okay, Nikki.
Thank you. I'm just jotting down things. Oh yeah, I was there too. Okay, let's see. NDSBA training, we were all there October 27th and 28th. October 29th, I was part of a national PTA and state leadership conference on the updated national standards for family school partnerships. I have the FPS Foundation meeting tomorrow, which was rescheduled. Negotiations meeting was November 2nd. November 4th, I met NIMAL down at City Hall, and we met with the mayor and Dr. Hogan, talking about the various programs that we had talked about before. She had brought it to governance. And I had also participated in a PTA focus group. The theme is Share Our Strength, and the purpose of it was to deepen our understanding of how involved parents are when it comes to school nutrition in their respective states, and gather insight on what parents and families still need in this current climate, post-pandemic recovery, resources, etc. So that's it for now.
Thank you for that. Greg?
I thought I was busy the last couple of weeks, but it seems like everyone is somehow even more busy than I was. Yeah, had the NDSBA, Um, Negotiations committee kicked off. I'm excited about that. Also slightly terrified, but I think I like the direction we're going as a committee. I have a couple things, other committee meetings, other stuff coming up in the next few weeks that some I'll be attending, but I will be missing some things, notably the legislative breakfast. I'm going to be out of town, but I have hopefully going to be providing some donuts as long as Katie hasn't spent that $20 that I gave her for the donuts on something else. But if there are no donuts, not my fault.
Okay, Katie.
Along with everybody else on the board, I attended the NDSBA conference for those 2 days. On November 1st, I attended planning in our governmental affairs. And then on November 3rd, I had a meeting with Denise Jonas from C3 Tech Center. And there will be a JPA coming. So that was part of what we talked about. So we'll have more to report on that later. And I am looking forward to cheering on our Fargo Spartans in the state championship football game on Friday afternoon.
Very exciting. Thank you. A brief president's report. Yes, I too was in Bismarck for the state school board convention. I just wanted to clarify on the record that Seth was there because he wasn't in our picture. He was very devoted. We texted him relentlessly and he would not leave the session he was in to come take the group photo. So he was there. And I also want to give a kudos to Dr. Gandhi, who had to give a surprise presentation that he did not know he was going to be giving at that seminar to a large room of people, and he did a very good job. Yeah, and I think we all attended various breakout sessions during that. I found this one very, very good. I went from everything from nutrition to legislation and everything in between. So learned a lot. On the 31st, Dr. Gandhi and myself and Anne-Marie met with the Inforum editorial board. That was a really good discussion. I think we kind of told them all things FPS and K through 12 education, and they asked a lot of questions of us. On the 1st, I was at planning, and then this past weekend, the 3rd through the 6th, I attended the Davies High School play, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead. I volunteered for that, and we hosted a Davies cast party at our home, which was an adventure, to say the least. There was karaoke involved and lots of things. Theater kids are the best kids, but our district's doing a lot of cool things, and I'm really proud of the work that the techies and everyone involved puts on. So, all right, that's all I have. We will affirm our next regular meeting date, November 22nd. It is 7:08, and we are adjourned.